The hosts feel it would be a little unkind to present this podcast without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to. Well, we've warned you.
Hello, and welcome once again to the Frankencast. I'm the mad scientist, Anthony Bowman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined as always by, I'm joined, I guess, again this week by...
The leather-clad, eye-patched, incestuous vixen who loves to be skull-fucked by her brother, that is Hayden Orr. My pronouns are also he, him.
Yeah, that really says a lot about what you're gonna get watching Frankenstein created bikers.
Yeah, this movie.
So this, like, when I was getting, so we're a spoiler. We watched two movies back to back basically, and are doing a couple recording sessions together. So as I was getting ready to watch the two movies, I just was like, I wonder how long both these are. Is this going to be like unmanageable or whatever? And Middle of the Stone Women, normal hour and a half-ish runtime that you would expect from something like this. I expected Frankenstein created bikers to be like an hour 15. Like that seems like the vibe.
Yeah.
This is a full-ass 2-hour long movie. I was not expecting that. In fact, I was, I clicked on it, saw that, and was like kind of buffering around a little bit in it, seeing what I was getting myself into. And the first thing that I saw as I was skimming was a close-up of an exotic dancer's boobs, and immediately I was like, that's Darcy the Mail Girl, and I didn't even see her face, and I was like, what does this say about me that I knew right away? But it was like, well, I mean, she posts her boobs on the internet a lot, and it's a horror movie, so it doesn't feel like a huge to be like, maybe that's her. But
I think you're perfectly fine. There's a lot of people in the current like horror community that if they just saw nothing but chest, they'd be like, "Oh, Darcy the Mail Girl, Diana Prince."
Yeah. But that's I guess a good like 10 minutes or so into the movie. We've got a little bit before we get to that, but yeah, 2 hours. Hold on to your hats on this one. It's a wild, and like, again, my complaint often with long movies is like they could have probably been tightened up. This movie has like almost no plot. It's just kind of stumbling from one scene to another. It's sort of a wild mess. There's any number of scenes that could have been taken out that you wouldn't have even noticed because nothing really leads to the next thing necessarily. It's just kind of all mashed together. Yeah.
Did you know that this was a sequel?
No. To what?
The production company that got this movie kickstarted, Big World Pictures, they're located in Atlanta. So they probably filmed this movie like just an hour away from where I basically have grown up and lived my entire life. The first movie they made was called Dear God No. And it introduces the doctor, our Frankenstein, and the Impalers, the biker gang, who are the monsters of the movie, basically. It like introduces their relationship to him. There's like a whole backstory with them kidnapping a Bigfoot or breaking into his house, and there's like a Bigfoot in there or something. I didn't watch it because I really had no interest in it. But I was reading more about it because I was trying to see where exactly they had filmed it. If I could see if it was somewhere like that was actually really close to where I live. I didn't see if they had posted anywhere. There's not really a lot of information about the full production of this film, but I did see. I was like, a sequel. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was thinking about it. I was like, actually, it makes a lot more sense as a sequel, but there is still basically no plot.
Yeah, because there was like early on, I was just like, they're really kind of just hitting the ground running, and not in a way that feels like we're going to fill in the blanks. It did just feel like, yeah, like it did feel like a sequel. Now that you say that, yeah, that definitely checks out. But the biker, the Sasquatch, all of that like comes up again later, and it feels like we're supposed to kind of know. So I guess that's on me for not doing that research, but it sounds like maybe that one is more of a biker movie and less of a Frankenstein movie, so maybe we don't need to get into that so much.
I think so, because it's the only returning actors, I think, are Dr. What is the doctor's name? Dr. Dr. Marco, and the biker gang. They're all the same returning actors. I don't think there were any other actors from this one that were in Dear God, no.
Gotcha.
But I do have to say, I was kind of looking forward to this. One reason why I picked it when you sent me the list of movies is because I saw that Lawrence Harvey was in it.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I unironically love The Human Centipede Part 2. I have tried to get so many of my friends to watch that movie. Nobody will. It's a running joke with me and my partner. I'm like, we're going to watch it one day. And he's like, no. If you make me watch that, I might leave you. But I genuinely, like, no irony whatsoever. I love that movie. I've seen it at least like 5 or 6 times. And I love Lawrence Harvey. But in this movie, I had to rethink my love of Lawrence Harvey.
Yeah, it does feel kind of like they were just like, like you said, they kickstarted this. I bet it was like, if we have a stretch goal, maybe we'll be able to hire a real actor. You often see this with like these sort of really low budget things. And probably we got enough money to see it, to convince Lawrence Harvey to show up in, Atlanta for a couple days and, phone it in basically. But yeah,
that accent, Jesus.
Yeah, it's something. So we start with what feels like something new to this movie. We have like this sort of like sexy girl standing by the roadside. She's trying to hitchhike. We have a song blasting that, as far as I could tell, seemed to be called "Pussy Getting Machine."
Yeah, that was an original song made for this movie by a band. Hold on, I had it somewhere. I think the band is called Sasquatch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. Which is just, when you've got a movie like this, of course, you get a Rob Zombie-ass original song written for it, I guess.
Yeah, this does have like, bargain basement Rob Zombie vibes for sure.
Which Rob Zombie's already pretty divisive. I mean, I like Rob Zombie a lot, and I will defend some of his movies. I love Halloween 2. I think the first Halloween remake that he did was whatever, but Halloween 2 I think is great. And then I love The Lords of Salem. I think that's another great one that people kind of sleep on. But even when it's actually Rob Zombie, he has to like really be on point to get things great. So when you're dealing with like no budget Rob Zombie like wannabe vibe, it's very hard to stomach.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. So we have, a van pulls up to pick up the hitchhiker, and everybody in this just seems like they're just like ready to fuck at like the drop of a dime. Like everybody is just like flirting with each other. Male, female, doesn't matter. Like we have like a guy who's driving and a girl who I would have assumed is his girlfriend sitting in the passenger seat. But
yeah, that's what I thought.
But they're like both flirting with the hitchhiker girl, and they, let her in, but she ends up taking the passenger seat. The other girl moves to the back, And now suddenly the driver is just hitting on the hitchhiker girl instead. She's carrying a 6-pack of beer as she gets in the van. Meanwhile, everybody in the back is already drinking beer. They've got a bong going. They're smoking cigarettes. Like, it's just like, 70s as fuck. Like, they're just,
They were really trying hard to get the dialogue to feel like a actual 70s exploitation biker film. It feels like whether that was successful, you'll have to judge for yourself if you watch this movie, but I didn't. They were just saying some insane shit.
Yeah, I mean, like any kind, like one of the other girls calls the hitchhiker like a hot piece of gash or something. Like, it's just that kind of language. Like, it's just
yeah.
But so eventually the hitchhiker says something about like, are you all headed to the hole? And it turns out like this is, I guess, all the teens go hang out at the lake, the watering hole or whatever.
Yeah.
So of course, what's going to happen here. They get out. The hitchhiker girl, or like the guy runs and jumps. The driver jumps into the lake. The girl is about to follow him, but of course she's got to get naked on land so we can see everything.
Oh yeah.
But as she's standing there like flirting with the guy, a huge fucking Sasquatch just jumps out of the lake and just kills him.
Yeah, they didn't realize that they were walking right into a Jack Link's beef jerky commercial.
Yeah.
And this is another thing, like, if you watch this movie without seeing the first one, like, without knowledge that this is a sequel, I was like, Frankenstein created bikers. Okay, there's going to be Frankenstein reanimated bikers, probably. That's going to be, like, the fucking Sasquatch. Literally out of the lake.
Yeah, which is not even a place I would have expected a Sasquatch to come out of anyway. This is...
Right.
As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm getting into here, for sure. I'm just going to have to go along for the ride, because this is going to take me places I was not expecting. So yeah, the girl, of course, sees this. She screams. She is naked, but she, like, pulls up her underwear, I think, is all she gets back on, and so she's just running around topless in panties, screaming. Cut to like the other two couples from the van who are both, flirting. They're both like getting ready to have sex, basically. But before they can, the hitchhiker comes running in screaming. She immediately doesn't even say, she's just screaming. She just drops to the ground and crawls under the van without saying a word to anybody, and they're all like, what's going on? And then Sasquatch comes out and just like fucking kills everybody. So she's watching from under the van as, all these people she just met are being massacred by a Sasquatch. But then a biker gang just, comes into the clearing, and they attack the Sasquatch and like sort of capture it. They beat it up a bunch, but they do not kill it. They throw a net on it like they're fucking in the original, Planet of the Apes movie. They literally just toss like a cartoon style net on him, and they're beating him with like rebars. Yeah. So of course she's like, oh great, I'm safe, everything's okay. She crawls out from under the van. She's crying and thanking them. She says, "Thank God for you all," or whatever. And like the main biker, who will eventually get the name, is Jet. He's like, impalers don't believe in God, only the impalers. And she just like, I don't know, does he say something that like implies that they're gonna hurt her?
There was he said something there I took as like an implicit threat of rape, which trigger warning. We probably should have done this up top, but there's a lot of threats of rape in this movie. There's a little bit of transphobia in one scene. And then Jimbo, the actor that plays Jimbo, there's one scene where he just casually says the N-word in the like halfway through the film, which was just a little wild to me. Yeah. Because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. There's, I think there's definitely this implication that like these are bikers, they're bad guys, so we got to make them look bad. But yeah, some of the choices that they make to show that are a little bit more than I was expecting for this. And yeah, like you said, there's like this implied sort of rape thing that she kind of like collapses to the ground crying. But later there will be people who are just like outright like, I think I'm gonna rape you. Like they'll just say it like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, no question about it. So yeah, it's definitely lots of triggering stuff in this. And the weird thing is, I thought this was true, and I just looked up to make sure I was right. So the actor playing Jimbo is actually the writer-director of this film, James Bickert.
Oh.
So, weird choice to be like, you know what, I'm going to write myself into this and give myself the line where I have to say the N-word on camera for the world to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird choice. So then I guess we have like, once she drops to the ground crying, we go to like our credit sequence, which I will say this credit sequence was great. It's really cool. Like it's, it's a lot of psychedelic colors. We've got a lot of like, kind of like a James Bond thing where we have like silhouetted women where like they're naked, but like they're silhouetted in different sort of psychedelic colors at the same time, dancing, just very trippy, just, really fitting the vibe of this sort of like drugged up biker 70s kind of vibe. So yeah, I really, really had fun with that.
Yeah, I was still on board at this point. Like the opening sequence, I was like, okay, that's crazy, and then the title sequence, I was like, okay. I was still very much looking forward to getting a crazy low budget exploitation film. But after that title sequence, and then after Darcy dancing at the strip club, it really kind of loses the sauce.
Yes. Yeah, so like while she is dancing, and yeah, they even like the character in the movie is even named Diana Prince. It's just like straight up, they just probably also got her as like a guest role kind of thing. But while she's dancing, like we get a minute or so of just like close-ups of her, but then she continues dancing in the background while we get like dialogue. We have like the owner of the club, who, what is his name? He's like is it Larry?
Yeah, it's Larry.
So he's also kind of got this like biker guy quality to him. But we have like a guy who's sort of like, I guess, a manager of the club. He's like trying to like audition new acts, and he's like, I got this girl, you're gonna love her, we'll put her up next. And he's like, okay, I'm skeptical, but sure, you put her up there, we'll see. And she is like a fire eater, and she does the whole act where she does the licking the little fire sticks, putting it out, blowing fire back on them, all that. And then because it's sort of like a dangerous exotic dance kind of like burlesque sort of thing, she like lays spread eagle and blows the fire out that way. But like Larry is not into it. He's like heckling her, booing her the whole time. He's also just like yelling horrible shit at her.
Yeah.
Like any kind of like degrading language that you can think of for women or for women's bodies, you're going to hear that in this movie for sure. Like I couldn't even begin to make you a list of all the weird fucked up things they say. Some of them is like they're making up new ones because they're running out.
They ran out of all the old like standbys. They had to get a little creative.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not into that. And after that's over, a girl shows up in an eye patch. This is the other sort of main character we're gonna get. Her name is Val, and we find out she is Larry's daughter, and she at one time ran this club, but she has been away in jail for a couple years, and he's been running it in her stead. But he hates it. He's like, "Oh, are you back? I didn't even know you were out, but take it. I don't want this bar. It's I feel like I've been trapped in hell the whole time you've been gone." They do not seem to like each other. They don't get along. And she's like, "Well, yeah, we don't have a lot in common, but we do have one thing in common, which is we want revenge on the Impalers." So presumably some of this is stuff that happened in the previous movie, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would assume. The only thing that I saw was it basically explains Dr. Marco and the Impalers' history. There might have been stuff with Larry in that one. I didn't really look any further into it. But if there's something in this movie that is barely explained and they're like it already happened, yeah, it probably happened in Dear God No. I would assume.
We of course she has an eye patch, and he has like a bandage around his forehead with like an open wound and a thing sticking out of it and just like blood like seeping down his forehead. So both of them took some kind of shrapnel in some previous encounter with the Impalers, and he's like, well, yeah, we definitely agree on that. But while you've been out, I've recruited a gang. We got it under control. We're gonna take them out. And he introduces his like kill squad, which is Willie the Stump, who is the best tracker in Appalachia, but doesn't have a great track record down in the swamps of Florida, where he lost his hand to a gator, and he's just got like, like a Bowie knife just sticking out of the stump of his hand where his hand should be. And then we have Amber Joe, who has like deadly claws. She's just got like, really long fake nails on one hand. And this is where you were talking about the transphobia thing. She is supposed to be transgender in some way. I think they call her transsexual, which at one time was an accepted term, but I don't think it was by the time this movie came out.
Yeah.
As soon as they announced that, I was like, oh, we're going to have some really unpleasant dick jokes down the line. Somehow we managed to dodge that, actually. We only really she gets one line of dialogue, and they like have dubbed her with a man's voice, and it's just straight up like a female actress who they dub her with a man's voice for this one line, and that's real.
Which is like, I'm glad they didn't do anything more with that, but at the same time, like if you weren't going to, what's the point of even making that like known in the first place?
Yeah.
You could have just made her like a crazy assassin with finger claws.
Yeah, that would have been perfectly fine. Like, yeah, why just dip your toe into the transphobia if you're not committed to it? I would rather you just not at all. But like, if you're gonna do it, yeah, it seemed weird for there to be no payoff. Which is
there's a lot of stuff in this movie like that where I think they were just trying to. They're like, it's a grindhouse film, it's exploitation. Like they wanted to just like be edgy for the sake of it being like a grindhouse movie, quote unquote. Yeah. And I think that is one of those things where they were just like, yeah, let's throw that in there.
Yeah, like the like an Ed Wood, like a Glenn or Glenda kind of thing. Like, yeah, we gotta. I want to say there's like a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie that also deals with, a problematic trans sort of situation.
There's probably a women's prison movie that's specifically as well.
Almost certainly. And then there's the last one is the Reverend Chainsaw, who is he's just like looks like a preacher. He has a chainsaw. I think did they describe he comes from the Church of the Epileptic Jesus or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Basically, Larry's plan is he's going to pay them to do the job, and then they get all kinds of extra bonuses if their kills are like super gnarly. So he's trying to get them to really punish the Impalers. Oh, this is where Amber Joe gets her one line where she says something about like, what if we just got the cops involved? And everybody it's like, all at once, like they're like, no pigs. Obviously, we're not going to do that. Like,
yeah. That's a running joke in this movie that I think may have came from the first one, because they just like keep saying no pigs or like killing cops in this movie. It's just a running joke that everybody hates cops basically in this area.
Yeah. So Val and Larry are like kind of arguing about whether this plan will work, but he's like, let's all go outside. We can kick this whole thing off. But as soon as they get outside, the shrapnel sticking out of Larry's forehead just falls out, and he just like has a seizure and seems to just fall down dead, or like half dead. And then Val pulls out a gun and shoots him, and she's like, "All right, that's enough of that. I'm in charge now. So you guys answer to me. We're gonna continue with this plan, but I've also got my own people." Which seem to just be a bunch of the like topless dancers from the club, but now they're going to wear masks, like cat masks or bunny masks or something.
They're going to wear these white masks and carry assault rifles, and that's it.
Again, this is definitely just like a grindhouse thing. Like, let's just have a bunch of topless chicks. But we cut away from that to the introduction of Lawrence Harvey. In this movie, his name is Klaus, and he's like approaching a factory. I think he's got like a briefcase. He comes in, and then like he's getting ready to talk to Dr. Marco, but there's a knock at the door. Right behind him, the Impalers have arrived, and they're here to drop off Bigfoot. We get our introduction to Dr. Marco, who is like our mad scientist. He's our Frankenstein, but he's also severely burned, which I, again, assume had something to do with the previous movie. Basically, he has revived all of these bikers. They died in the previous movie, but like, it's one of those things where like they're not immortal like a Frankenstein monster. They are reliant on injections of this special serum to keep them going. So they're all here to receive their shot so that they can keep going for a little while longer. They're like, we're tired of this though. Can you solve this? Can you make us whole? He's like, yeah, that could happen, but I'm gonna need some more from you before that could happen. He sends them out like, I'll get back to you. I'll reach out to you when I have, the next step of the plan. And so then we have Marco and Klaus talking, and they're like, what are we going to do about those guys? They're just kind of like an albatross now. We're stuck with them. And Klaus is like, if you don't give them their injections, won't they just die? And he's like, I mean, maybe eventually, but first they're going to just turn into like insane zombie bikers, and they're just going to be like attacking towns. I think they're going to bring some attention down on us that we don't want. So not the best plan. He's like, but Klaus, in the meantime, I've got a job for you first. And Klaus is like, okay, but before I go, I got to go check on her. Or no, or is it Marco?
Dr. Marco has to go check,
Yeah, and Klaus...
Because Klaus, he makes a big deal about him being sentimental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, she's a monster. You should just do away with her. But yeah, obviously Marco's not hearing that. So we cut to Klaus in this room just full of chained up women. There's like... 4 or 5, including the hitchhiker from the beginning. She's freaking out, and he's like, don't worry, we can help each other out. Everything's going to be okay. But he has a bag of corpse parts that he shows to her. And obviously that does not do much to calm her down, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
She like spits at him, and she's like, I don't want anything to do with what you're doing here. You're evil, you're bad, like, as you would, But he just like, I think hits her and knocks her out at that point. So then we go from them back to Val's kill squad, searching the forest, being led by Willie the Stump, that we know is supposed to be a great tracker. We also have elsewhere some cops investigating the crime scene, which I assume is like the site of the Bigfoot attack from earlier.
Yeah, that's what I assume, because they talk about finding... one of the deputies says something about finding a head, because he keeps making jokes about like, hey guys, you want to give me some head?
Yeah. And they also make a bunch of jokes about like, why don't we ever get asked to go to crime scenes with like some cool stuff? Like, I've never found like a bag of money. I've never found some drugs that I could maybe sneak some out. I haven't even found like a porno mag laying around. Like, it's always body parts and shit. This sucks. Being a cop sucks. Like, they're just like complaining about it.
Yeah.
And as they're complaining, they eventually, they like go get in their cop car to leave. But before they can pull away, they're like, hey, wait, there's like a girl coming up here. And we see it's Val. And they're like, I wonder what she's up to. Why is there just like a hot girl in black leather just standing in the middle of the woods? And she pulls out this like sort of controller looking thing and like raises a big antenna out of it. And they're like, that's weird. What could that be? And then she presses a button, and suddenly the car that they're in just explodes. She has killed off these cops.
Yeah.
No real reason to do that, like, other than that we're bikers and we hate cops. I mean, we gotta, we support some ACAB action, but like, it seems like this is just gonna draw more attention on them that they don't need.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to, because this movie's just kind of nonsense, but like, it could have.
Right. If the plot made a little bit more sense, and things that were happening in the movie were responses to things that had already happened that other characters had done, there probably would have been a bigger police investigation going on than just this one small town sheriff whose deputies keep getting obliterated.
Somehow, did they bump into Klaus just here in the woods?
I think he went to find them because he is trying to make a deal with Val.
Okay.
Like, 'cause that's Klaus's whole thing in this movie, is he's constantly like backstabbing and double crossing everybody, or trying to at least.
Yeah.
So I think he went to go find them to try to make a deal.
Yeah, and he's like, I've got information. We share a problem. It's the Impalers. So it's almost like he's not necessarily betraying Marco so much as that he's just like, we all have an Impalers problem. Maybe we can wipe them off the board and then we can go from there. She's like, why don't I just kill you, though? It could make things more interesting. I don't know what you have to offer me. You can't help me kill the Impalers. And he's like, yeah, but I could pay you for killing them, and I also know where their hideout is, so I can direct you towards them, save you a lot of time. And she's like, okay, that's interesting. I'm listening. And then we just see, like, it seems like he's going to be directing her to, like, their biker gang hideout. But instead, all of a sudden, we just have bikers in the woods. Everybody's sort of, like, preparing for war here in the woods.
Yeah.
Probably just because they couldn't afford more sets. They're just like, the woods, they're free.
Yeah.
We have a couple of the bikers that are sitting around elsewhere chatting about, like, once we get the serum, we can finally be free. What are we going to do with our lives? One of them's name is Spider, and then the other one is, we just said his name, and I've already, Jimbo.
Jimbo. Spider is the only repentant one. Jet, and Collins, I think, is the other one. He's the one that's Val's brother.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay, yeah. So a lot of the, it's a big gang. Most of them aren't named, but those are the crew we like know. But suddenly, we have a couple of the topless girls outside of this little like shed where they are, and she just starts they start like just shooting up the place. And the guys all kind of drop to the ground. It seems like they're okay. And then I think it's Willie the Stump goes over to the door and just tosses a grenade in.
Yeah, which does nothing.
Yeah, so we have the Val's gang all outside, like, fuck yeah, we did it. We killed them all. The end. Easy enough. But nope, the Impalers start, popping out of the shed. They've all got guns. We have an extended shootout. It goes on a while.
Yes. We also see in this scene that, because some of the biker gang take some bullets, and they're completely fine. So this is where we really see that, they are really undead. They're immune to most forms of damage. And that's part of what makes them so dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, they are certainly the created bikers of the movie. At some point in this, Jet, who seems to be the leader, he kind of wanders off away from everyone else and like ends up in a confrontation with just one of the assault rifle girls, and he like grabs her and she's like, "You might be able to hurt me, but that's not going to change anything. A world of shit is coming down on you. Val's back and she's out to get you." And this is the scene where he's just like outright like, I think I might rape you. Like, I think that sounds like a good plan. I'm not really worried about Val. I got you right here. That sounds like a fun time. I'll deal with the rest of it later. And obviously she's not excited about that. She manages to kind of like wriggle free and starts running away. And he just very methodically, slowly, like coldly just like pulls out a gun and just like shoots her dead. Like she just, as she's running, he hits her in the back. She just drops dead. Jet continues looking. He bumps into Willie at this point. And there's a couple of the other bikers that are there, and this is where we find out Jet and Willie know each other. Willie's not actually even named Willie. He calls him Myron.
Yeah. I think he says he's originally from Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. So not Appalachian and not from the swamps of Florida. And in fact, Jet's like, he didn't even lose his hand to a gator. I took his hand. And they're like, well, what'd he do, boss? Why'd you take his hand? And he's like, well, so yeah, we ran around in a gang together for a little while, and then I caught him watching kids on a playground and jerking off. And they're like, oh, so you cut off his hand for that? And he's like, nah, I let that slide, but I told him that's got to be it. No more of that. No more jerking off around kids. And then a few days later, I caught him. He was hiding in my room jerking off while I was banging my old lady. So that did it. I had to cut his hand off for that. And I think then he's like, and then I made him keep watching anyway, or so, like, you know, just.
Well, yeah, he made him finish with his severed hand.
Oh yes, yeah, yep.
Yeah, and the gang, by the way, the Impalers are. They're all of them except for Jet are just sitting in the grass casually, like talking at Jet while drinking beer, while Myron and Jet are like encircling each other.
Yeah,
like getting ready to fight.
Yeah, this is very grindhousey. That just like, you know, there's some sort of honor among thieves that we're just gonna watch the fight. We're not gonna like swarm him or whatever. They do end up fighting. The gang just watches. They're laughing. They're having a great time. And Willie / Myron uses his knife hand and gets a good stab right in the guts of Jet. But again, no effect. He is impervious to this kind of thing. Once Willie sees that, I think that kind of like takes the winds out of his sails, where he's just like, oh fuck, like this is, I don't know what I can do then.
Yeah.
So they end up just kind of like knocking him down and just beating the shit out of him. And they're like, all right, well, we won't kill you. Just tell us who's coming for us. Where can we find them? And he does just, sings. He just tells them everything he knows, and then they kill him anyway.
Shocker.
Yeah, of course. And then I think we go back to the room full of the chained up women where Klaus is just whipping the hitchhiker girl.
Yeah.
Then he starts whipping some of the other girls, and somehow the hitchhiker gets loose from her chains and escapes into, the ventilation shafts, because every hideout has to have human-sized vents that anybody can crawl around in.
Of course.
We just have her escape for now, but we'll get more with her as she's going. But instead, we finally get to find out the doctor has been checking on. It's his daughter, who he has kept alive, even though she is just a head, which is kind of a standard refrain we see from Frankenstein-y kind of genre movies, where we have just the head alive, whether it's like the brain that wouldn't die or Reanimator. There's a lot of this. And he's like, I've got a new body for you. Everything's going to be okay. And she is mad. She wants to just be let to die. Not only is she just like, you should let me die. I hate you. I hate that you're doing this to me. But also that body you brought is too fat. I wouldn't be okay with that body anyway. Yeah. And the body is not fat. It is fine.
Yeah, it's like a perfectly normal.
Yeah. Like it's not even like what I would call curvy or plus size. It's just a regular ass woman's body. And he's like, okay, well, if you don't like this one, you got to pick another body. Like, and if you don't pick one, I'm going to pick one for you, because I'm going to bring you back. And she's just berating the whole time. She's just like, I want to die. I want you to kill me and then kill yourself. Fuck you. You're a bad dad. But finally she's like, okay, fine, but make it a thin body. It's got to be thin. And then that's whatever. And at this point, Jet shows up, and we find out that it seems like, again, maybe last movie stuff, but it seems like Jet and the daughter seem to have some sort of past relationship.
Yeah, I think in the last movie, when they break into Dr. Marco's house, apparently, I think Jet raped the daughter.
Okay.
Which, considering their relationship in this movie, is like wild.
Yeah, it's Because yeah, I just would have assumed that they were exes or were dating before she got killed. And I know exploitation movies love to do this whole sort of like rape as seduction thing. It just never is anything other than gross to me. It just never works. I know it was a different time, but it just sucks every time. So yeah, it's not surprising that you say it, but yeah, that really kind of sours this already not great relationship. It just makes it even worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he does. She's like, oh, I guess my dad brought you back to life too, huh? And he's like, yeah, I guess I do owe you a little bit of an apology. And she's like, of course you fucking owe me an apology. So I guess that's not for the breakup or the cheating on her or anything like that, but for the rape. But yeah, he agrees. Yeah, he says he's sorry or whatever, and then we just like, it sort of like cuts to like them still together. Some time has passed. They just are still chatting. They seem to have reconciled. They're getting along, and he's like,
they're smoking a joint together.
And he's like,
which is, I don't know how she's doing that with no lungs. Which, I mean, I don't know how she's talking either, but still.
Yeah. And he knows that she's just kind of like sick of Marco's whole thing, and he's like, I am too. I'm ready to bring down this whole operation, so I'll help you. We'll put an end to this whole mess. And they kiss, and that's when Dr. Marco comes in and is like, what are you doing with my daughter? Get out of here. And Jet's like, oh, we were just talking. And we get this whole extended thing where Marco's like, do you know about mudfish? Or he says the Latin taxonomy name or whatever. And yeah, Jet's like, yeah, like a mudfish? Yeah. Are you calling me a fish? What are you asking me about? And he's like, well, they're outside of all the other fish are part of this one sort of line, and they're just on their own outside. They're just a Jurassic relic. And I'm saying you don't belong in the same way that they don't belong. So yeah, Jet's, not really a metaphor guy. He's not really interested in this kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say Dr. Marco's not really a metaphor guy either, because that metaphor is delivered very stuntedly and awkwardly.
Yeah. And we cut from that scene to the hitchhiker who is lost in the ventilation system, but she somehow finds herself in an area where, like, it's open above her. I don't know if this is like a garbage chute or I don't know, but like,
I think it's, where they're like getting rid of unused body parts or something, because there's a lot of gore that she's kind of like crawling through.
Yeah. And we also have Klaus up above her watching her, and he just starts like, he pours like an entire like container of thumbtacks down on her, which this is one of those classic things where it's like, if you watch a horror movie and see somebody get their arm chopped off, it's like, oh, that's gross or whatever. But if you see somebody get like a paper cut, you're just like, oh God, because that's like more, it's more visceral because you've been there. And so something about just seeing her like crawling around on thumbtacks, stabbing her or something is just visceral in a way that like no amount of these like absurdist, like super gory, grindhouse kind of things just don't hit as hard, But yeah, but of course she's got to keep moving. So she crawls over the thumbtacks through all of these other people's blood. It's just, graphic and gross.
Yeah.
And we cut from that to some more cops. They're investigating another crime scene, which I think is the woods shootout between the two biker gangs. And the sheriff is like, yeah, this sucks. This is why are we getting all these awful crime scenes lately? You guys keep an eye on it. Keep looking for clues. I gotta head to town. And so we get sort of a repeat of the previous scene where we have these two cops just left on their own, and they hate their jobs. They hate their life. They're like, why are we living in this fucking small town? It sucks. We're just like, because our families were here, we were born here, and we're gonna die in this shitty town. We should just move away. Like, this is, and like they get to the point where they like, they get in the car and they're like, as soon as our shift's over, as soon as we clock out today, let's make a pact. We're gonna pack up. We're gonna get our shit, and we're gonna get the fuck out of this town. We're done. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then the car explodes. It's
cut to Val putting the antenna back into her little controller thing.
Yeah.
And basically looking right at the camera like...
Yeah, it definitely felt like as soon as they're talking about, we've got so much to live for, that their days are numbered. Yeah, so Val is enjoying getting to kill some more cops, and we go back to the Hitcher, who is, now, I mean, she's covered in blood head to toe, like just saturated in it, and Klaus is just fucking with her. Like, he could easily get to her at any time, but he like sets flamethrowers off that are in there. I guess this is to like burn up the corpses and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of assuming.
Clearly just toying with her. And then I think we have some of the bikers show up, and they're like, they're here for their injection or whatever. And he's like, come with me. I got something to show you. Back in the lab, Dr. Marco is like, he's got his skinny body. He's ready to go. And he's like, all right, I'm going to give you some more serum. You'll be good to go. You'll be, you'll be fine. And then Jet's like, wait a minute, you're talking about the serum? I thought you had a permanent solution and that you wouldn't have to give people the temporary serum anymore. And Marco's like, yeah, it's, I'm working on it, but like, I got hurt. I had to, I am doing fine with just the one injection of serum because I was only hurt. You guys that were killed, I'm still figuring out how to make that work for you. We'll get there, but we're not there yet. Meanwhile, the hitchhiker bumps into another living soul in the ventilation shaft. Again, this feels like just a grindhouse nonsense thing. There's just like an extremely crazy woman who has like an aborted fetus that she's carrying around and calling her baby. And the end result of this scene is that she just maniacally laughs as she like shoves the baby back inside her.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. This is one of those scenes that like it doesn't need to be here. It amounts to nothing. It's just gross, weird grindhouse stuff for its own sake. We go back to the woods where we're with Jimbo and Spider. As you said, they're kind of like they're not Jet, they're not the leader, but they're kind of like the buddies who are like. Spider is sort of remorseful about what they did. Jimbo less remorseful, but he's also more philosophical too. So they've got like they're talking to each other on a level a little higher than the rest of the bikers are. And they're planning what they're gonna do once they're free. Jimbo wants to start a barbecue restaurant, and Spider's like, I don't know. We killed a pregnant woman. I just can't stop thinking about it. I just see her every time I close my eyes. And Jimbo's like, well, I mean, if you want to see her, I think she's like still alive and she's in Marco's basement. She's chained up down there. Maybe we could go visit her. Would that make you feel better? And of course, Spider's like, no, that would not make me feel better.
Yeah.
So we go from them back to Marco, who's like, okay, I think she's going to be okay, but we'll have to wait and see if all the serum worked. Do we ever get the daughter's name? I just wrote down that I just called her Marco's daughter the whole time.
Yeah, she... hold on, I have it right here. Her name's Edna Marco.
Okay.
And also the girl from the beginning, the hitchhiker girl, her name is Candy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then we have Klaus talking to Marco in the next room, and he's like, I think the bikers have put Bigfoot back in his holding cell. Everything's fine there. But then we have Spider and Jimbo again. And then this part of the movie, it feels like it's cutting a lot just because it's just kind of meandering. Like there's not really. I think a lot of these scenes could have been like not intercut, and it would have flowed a little more smoothly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have Spider and Jimbo again talking. They're talking about how much they love beer, I think, in this scene, and that's pretty much it. And then we see Val and her gang blowing the doors off the mill. I guess that's kind of fun. I didn't think about it. We have a sort of a mad scientist inside a mill again in this movie.
Yeah.
But as soon as like they blow the door off, we have Marco elsewhere in the facility. He's like, I think we're under attack. We need to prepare. Klaus, can you help or whatever? And he's like, but I can't move. I feel like my body is not responding the way that it usually does. And Klaus is like, yeah, that was me. I did inject you with something. I never really liked you, and I'm planning on trying to sell your work to the highest bidder. So good luck. I'm gonna take my leave now and let you deal with the bikers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna give you another injection. This one, it's a really big needle, just because I thought that'd be fun. I thought it would hurt you, and I'm gonna enjoy that. So it's just like this cartoon needle. Like, we really get that. Like, Klaus, he's fucking evil too. Like, everybody in this movie, is just bad. There's like no redeemable characters in this hardly. Like, maybe Candy is about it. Like,
well, yeah. But that doesn't really amount to anything. The sheriff is also, like, pretty purely heroic.
Yeah.
But once again, that doesn't amount to anything in the end.
Yeah, true, yeah. So at that point, we have Val bumping into two of the bikers or two of the impalers inside the facility. And this is, I know one of them's her brother, or is the other one just like a friend or whatever?
I think the other one is just a member of the impalers. Okay. Like, he's just there. But yeah, the one is her brother. In fact, I think earlier in the movie, Larry, her dad, had mentioned that the reason she lost her eye was because of something that her brother did. But I might be misremembering that.
Yeah, I think that seems true. Yeah, and like, she's talking about, like, I finished the job, I killed her dad, so, like, we're or she, the job you couldn't finish, I did. And then we just immediately cut to their dad, still alive somehow, in a car, driving towards them. And to help him stay alert and still alive, I guess, he's got a girl in the passenger seat who's giving him roadhead.
Yeah.
He ends up crashing into... Or he sees one of the bikers.
Because he sees Jimbo and Spider, because they're walking to go get beer. Like, they're walking to find a store to get beer. And I think he sees them and, like, almost crashes into them, but ends up, like, hitting it. Does he end up crashing?
Yeah, I think he hits...
Because I feel like I remember...
I don't remember if he hits a tree, but I think he hits just, like, a lesser biker, like an unnamed one. But they stop then, and, like, he stumbles out of the car, and the girl stumbles out of the other side, and we find out that in the crash, in, like, sort of... I guess, like, Thinner or whatever, like, things don't go well. I feel like is there some other movie where, like, I know Thinner, there's, like, a blowjob car wreck thing, but, like, he's fine. But in this case, not so much. He gets his dick bit off by the girl. And, again, he's just, like, ranting crazy shit. He's like, I want you to spit that out and, put it in your vagina to keep it warm until we can get it reattached or whatever. But she ends up just falling over dead. Like, her face is a little messed up. I don't know if that's from the wreck or if she was already some sort of zombie-ish person to begin with. Like, you can, like, see her teeth through the side of her jaw. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. The only other movie / TV show or book that I can think of where that, like, a crash occurring during Roadhead, is American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
That happens in that story.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, as soon as, like, she falls over dead, there's just the other biker standing around. They all just, like, shoot him as many times, just empty their guns into his back. He falls over. They get into his car and back over him with it. Really insult to injury there. And then we go back to Val and her brother, and it becomes really clear very quickly that they have a weird incesty thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, why don't you come with me? I got a plan. But then the other guy who is, also in her brother's gang, they just, like, lock him in with a Sasquatch, and he just gets, like, ripped to shreds immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, her brother seems not especially loyal to the Impalers. So then we end up with two sex scenes sort of simultaneously happening. One being Jet and Edna. She's awake now, and yeah, she and Jet are having sex. Meanwhile, at first we have Val and her brother talking about how they took each other's virginities when they were much younger. And they decide, or she complains about how while she was in jail to survive, she had to les out a little bit, but she's glad to be back to, you know, the civilized world where there are men around. And she's like, now I just need you to do one thing for me. And he's like, what do you need, sis? And she pulls off her eye patch and is like, skull fuck me? Which is...
Yeah.
Definitely the most insane. I mean, this movie is full of insane things, but that's certainly the most insane thing. Yeah, we will see a lot of, like a kind of montagey bit here where we see a bunch of different things, but we will see many scenes where she's just kind of like, you know, she's got her back to the camera and is just kind of like slamming her face down into his crotch.
While she's also holding her arms outstretched with two grenades in each hand, which she uses a lot of grenades in this movie.
Yeah,
But I'm very confused about why she needed to be doing that while her brother was fucking her eye socket. But
yeah. So strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we finally we have Spider and Jimbo. They've finally arrived at the convenience store where they're gonna buy beer. But like everybody at the convenience store is like, you know, they know these guys are up to no good. They're like not excited about them being in the convenience store, and you know, cops arrive to take them in. But like everybody else in the thing is like, why are you gonna just kill them? Kill these guys. Don't take them to jail. We want them dead. Even though they've not really done anything yet in here that these people know of.
Yeah.
But the sheriff's like, no, we can't just kill people, but we can. Here, like I think he's got a deputy with him. He's like, you cuff them, keep an eye on them, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, we should. I don't think we mentioned the sheriff is dedicated to stopping the Impalers because they killed his brother, which might have happened in the previous movie. Because they keep making reference to the fact that he looks exactly like his dead brother. And I think Jimbo even says, I killed your brother myself.
Gotcha.
When he's like leaving the convenience store.
Yeah, that makes sense. But which is, I think is what kind of squares him as being like the hero, where like these other people who are maybe less affected or like kill him, and he is affected, and he's like, no, we're going to do this by the books. We're going to do this legally. We're going to arrest them. We'll go from there. But as soon as he leaves, the Reverend Chainsaw arrives. And
they had to have passed him coming in because he literally comes right in after he leaves,
holding a chainsaw and also like a big like throwing dagger, which he immediately throws at Spider, I think, or no, at Jimbo.
Jimbo.
And Jimbo starts just like vomiting this like white slime, but is not really bothered. He just like gives the finger to the Reverend and is like, fuck you, man. So the Reverend is like, oh, knife didn't work. Okay, let's try the chainsaw then. And, you know, starts revving it up. Meanwhile, Candy is still crawling around the vents. She sees Val getting skull fucked. I think as soon as it's over, she still like kind of watches it, and Val is like, okay. She gets really mad about like that men... You know, men only want one thing, and it's disgusting. Basically, you know, she's just like, it's stupid that women we have the currency that men need. Like everything men are doing, whether it's money, power, whatever, they're all just trying to get between our legs. So we should be the ones with the money and power. We should be using what we have to our advantage. And so she storms out all angry, and he's left holding one of the grenades. And he's like, hey, Val, you left one of the... And then it just explodes. She just has killed her own brother.
Yeah.
We go back to the convenience store where the Reverend has already chopped off several of Jimbo's limbs. But he's still fine. He's just kind of annoyed. Like he's, you know, not dying in any way. Jimbo wisely here is like, maybe you don't want to kill me. You know, I was dead and brought back to life. So aren't you curious what happens in the afterlife? I saw everything. And there's like the deputy is there as well. And he's like, I saw the bright light. Do you want to hear next? And so everyone's listening, and he's like, I saw my loved ones. I saw my pets that I lost as a child. Like, he's just really, selling it. And the deputy gets really close, and all of a sudden, Jimbo grabs him, pulls his gun out of his holster, and he's like, just kidding. I didn't see anything. God doesn't exist. There's nothing. Fuck you. And he just starts shooting everybody in the convenience store.
Yeah. Which we were talking about, like, this is like a dime store, like Rob Zombie kind of vibe. That felt very much like some, like, Rob Zombie style dialogue that you might hear, like, Otis say. And,
yes.
Also, speaking of which, we were talking about the sheriff. They killed his brother in the previous movie. Isn't that literally what happens to the sheriff in House of a Thousand Corpses?
It is.
And then his brother is like the one that's hunting them in The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think the Reverend ends up getting killed, but he falls on his chainsaw, cutting his head in half. Some good, like, grindhouse core there. And once all of that happens, everybody's dead. Spider stands up, and he pulls out a gun, and he's like, all right, well, I'll see you later, Jimbo. And Jimbo's like, wait, you had a gun this whole time? And he's like, yeah, I kind of wanted to punish you for, like, dragging us to this convenience store, getting us into all this shit. And Jimbo's like, yeah, that's fair, I get it. I'm just going to chill here since I don't have any legs. I'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, like, I think an old lady comes in to the convenience store, and Jimbo's still, like, sitting there, no legs, holding a gun, and he starts trying to, like, scare this lady.
He says, you know the drill, and he uses the gun to point at his crotch.
Yeah.
So there's a implication that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and this is, like, an elderly lady, too.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go back to Val, who is, like, berating the surviving members of her gang. She's like, we gotta get serious, we gotta get this all done now. And then Amber Joe just pops up and just punches Val in the back of the head, and she just knocks her out.
Yeah. And none of Val's gang do anything. They're like, huh.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, they don't seem particularly loyal to Val, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have Klaus stealing a briefcase that's, like, sitting next to the bed where Jet and Edna are having sex. Jet's like, what's that? What you got there, bud? And, Klaus is like, that's none of your concern. You do what you're doing. I've got my own plan. Then we also have Candy again bumping into the crazy mom character. And we also get this scene with Spider, which was super fucked up. Spider, like, leaves. It seems like he's free. He can do whatever he wants. But no, he goes into the woods and decides he can't live with the guilt. I guess we didn't content warning that either, but there's, self-harm.
Yeah.
But it's like a cartoonish level because, as we've seen, bullets don't hurt these guys. So he shoots himself in the head, 6 or 7 times, like, to the point that the head is gone, and then he sticks the barrel down the neck hole and fires until the gun is empty.
It's played. It's the effects make it seem kind of like extreme, but it's played very, like, seriously, at least for this movie.
Yeah, like, there's, like, sad music playing. It's like he is. He's just racked with guilt. This is all that he could do, and like you're supposed to feel sorry for Spider in this moment for sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have Edna going to try to free the captured women from the dungeon, but of course they recognize the body as one of their former cellmates, and so they're angry and start trying to attack her, and she ends up having to, like, slit one of their throats to get away. So her sort of, half-hearted attempt at being a good guy goes down the drain quickly.
I think Candy also escapes while that was happening.
And then Klaus has gone to Marco's study where he is throwing more stuff into the briefcase. And this is where Jet catches up to him, and then he's like, I don't care about the notes. I don't care about if you've got money, whatever. I just want that fucking cure. That's what we're here for. Klaus is like, I don't have the cure, and I wouldn't give it to you if I did. I'm just gonna shoot you. And he pulls out a gun, but instead of shooting him, he has like some bikers that are sort of his hench people. Like he has sort of gotten control of this gang. They electrocute Jet, which seems to be fairly effective because of whatever the electrical stuff in these Frankensteins.
Yeah.
So then we have outside, the sheriff has found Marco's lair and comes inside. He bumps into Candy as she's trying to leave, and she's like, we gotta go. It's a lost cause in there. Just help me escape. And he's like, I'm the sheriff. I gotta do this. Cut right from that to Klaus, who is now sitting on a throne surrounded by topless girls and biker henchmen. He's just in charge of everything at this point. And he even, like, Amber Joe is there, and he's like, you, get to Jet. So we have a fight between Jet and Amber Joe, which is very short-lived because Jet backs her up against a wall, or not a wall, but a door, where the Sasquatch is inside, and it reaches out and, like, crushes her skull, basically. Rips her head off, I think because her head, like, rolls around.
Oh, yeah.
And Klaus is just fucking loving this. Like, it's just, just like bread and circuses, basically. He's just having a great time. And then he's like, oh, send in the other thing. And I was confused for a second. I was like, oh, maybe this seems to be a separate Sasquatch. So we have one Sasquatch that is a whole Sasquatch intact. And then we have a monster that is partially Sasquatch, partially Dr. Marco, some other stuff. It's just a weird Frankenstein monster with Sasquatch parts. So I gotta give this movie that. I've not seen that before. That's new.
Well, they've been kind of vague about it, but I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they've been making, or Dr. Marco's been making the serum that's keeping the undead alive from Sasquatch's blood.
Okay.
Because I think Sasquatch is, like, immortal, and I think that's where the serum has been coming from. He's been, like, kind of turning the Sasquatch blood into this elixir of life.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they release this monster thing. It attacks Jet. Klaus, again, is just having a great time. But then the real Sasquatch breaks free, and it's going on a killing spree now. It's throwing bikers and strippers around, killing them just wildly. And while that's going on, Edna manages to, I think she just, like, uses an axe, like, sneaks up behind the Marco Squatch monster and just, like, splits its head open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at that point, Candy is able to convince the sheriff. She's like, have you seen enough? Like, let's get the fuck out of here. As they're leaving, they bump into the psycho mom one more time, who's like, I've got something you want to see. And Candy's like, no, whatever she's got, we don't want to see it. I've run into her before. Nope. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So they get into the cop car, which, as cop cars do in this movie, promptly explodes. And then we see the psycho mom, she has Val's controller thing now. She's like, I told you were going to want to see it. Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah, Candy and the sheriff, they've been through all of these scenes in this movie. You'd think that there's something is going to come of their characters, and then nope,
just
completely pointless.
And back inside, we have Val. She's got a machine gun. She's like shooting at Klaus, shooting at all of the equipment around, just destroying everything. And then Jet wakes up on the ground. He is okay because, still Frankenstein guy. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, there's so much here that's useful. Like, we should kill Klaus. Fuck that guy. But, like, this isn't the way to go about it. And she's like, you're a misogynist. I don't really have any interest in hearing what you have to say. And he's like, I wouldn't call myself a misogynist. I mean, like, I think women, they should be allowed to wear pants. They should vote. I think that most of them are probably smarter than me. I'm just a dumb biker. But I'm also not a pussy, so I'm gonna, like, order them around because that's what I can do. And so it's weird. It's kind of like, I live by a code, like, it's a strange stance to make, but, like,
yeah, he's like, I'm backwardly progressive.
right, yeah. And Val's like, well, how do you feel now that your entire gang is dead and it's just you? And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So what do we do at this point? She's like, I mean, I've killed a lot of people and it's not made me feel any better. And he's like, well, you are a man hater. I guess maybe you should kill me and you'll feel better. And she's like, no, I don't hate men. I just hate everybody that's not me. I hate everything. So she pulls a ripcord and it turns out she had like a suicide vest and she blows herself up.
Yep.
So again, everybody just kind of comes to these weird ends where it's like, why did any of this happen? Nobody really seems to achieve a goal at the end of this movie. So we do have, at that point, Jet's like, all right, well, Edna, I think that's our cue to leave. Like, everybody's dying. We should just bounce out of this while we can. But he's like, I guess before we should go, we should set the Bigfoot free. So they, I think it broke loose. It was like locked in a cell, but it was also chained to the wall, and it broke the door down, but it's still, so it was able to get out a little ways, but it's still chained. So they free him from the chains, and instantly it just stomps Klaus's head, just kills him. So, so then we have Edna and Jet walking off into the woods, and she's like, I don't know, I don't feel right. Something's wrong inside me. And she starts screaming, vomiting black blood. Then she, like, grabs her own head and just rips it off of her body, collapsing to the ground, seemingly dead. But then Jet just bends down. He's got the carpet bag that had all of the, the stuff Klaus was collecting, and he just puts Edna's head in the bag and he just starts walking on. Then we have, like, a little later, she wakes up in the bag and he's like, yeah, we'll get you a new body soon, babe. Like, it's going to be okay. He takes her out. He gives her a kiss. He starts to put her back in the bag, and she's like, please, while I'm trapped like this, like, I need to feel like I matter, like I have some purpose. Just let me please you. And he's like, I don't know, that feels a little gross. And she's like, come on, I'm asking for it. This is enthusiastic consent here.
Yeah.
She wants to give him the most head that's possible, and he's like, okay, all right, if you say so, let's do it. So we get this scene of this actor holding a mannequin head to his crotch for a little while.
They managed to achieve what Stuart Gordon tried to achieve in the first Reanimator movie.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job where they'll have certain angles where, like, it's really the actress, and, like, we just see, like, the top of her head, like, we don't see the neck down.
Yeah.
So she's, like, moving and active, and then we see, like, him from the front, and we just have, like, him, like, kind of slamming the back of the head into his crotch. But yeah, like, interspersed between the two of them, it's believable. And, so once it's over with, she says, thank you. Like, I feel this connection to you, and I'm glad we did that. And if we've got my dad's notes, like, we just need to go back to the lab before the cops get there. Once the cops clear out, let's give it a little time. We'll go back. We'll get the serum. We'll get the notes. We'll figure out how to get me a new body. And in the meantime, there's enough serum there that each of us can go on for 3.5 years. And even if we can't figure it out in that time, I mean, that's 3.5 years together. We'll get to spend that time together, and that'll be a great way to go out. And Jet's just like, 7. And she's like, what? And he just throws her head off a cliff. And he's like, yep, 7 years just for me. That's my lucky number. And then we just see her head falling in slow motion until it hits the ground and explodes on the rocks. And then we go to credits. That's the end of the movie.
Yep.
So, yeah, everybody suffers and dies at the... I mean, I guess Jet's good, but he's good for 7 years. Because Jet is not going to fucking figure out this serum on his own.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's on a ticking clock for 7 years, and then he'll be dead too, and none of this will have mattered. I guess the Sasquatch is free to go about his business, and that's it.
This fucking movie.
Yeah, man, it was something. Like, and it's like, you know, when we get into these kind of like super low budget movies, you know, I'm so quick to defend these kind of movies. I'm, you know, people doing a Kickstarter, doing some crazy shit in their backyard. I am all for it. And there's some really fun stuff in here that I'm glad about, but then there's just some stuff that I'm like, man, there's some problem stuff you could have gotten rid of altogether. Then there's just some like extraneous stuff that you could have tightened it up and made it just feel a little less nonsensical. And
yeah,
fully acknowledging that maybe there's some of that would have made more sense if I'd seen the first one, but there was still a lot that could have been cleared up. And, you know,
yeah, there's like a lot of editing problems. I mean, there's story stuff. So many characters in this. It felt like they wanted to do all these things, and then when they got to the end of the script, they were like, "Oh, we still have these characters. Kill them off." Mm-hmm. And it never, like, they've been through from the beginning of the movie, and then by the end, like, it amounts to literally nothing. And it's like, what was even the point then? Like, were you just padding for time? Did you want this to be a 2-hour movie? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like it's frustrating because it could have been better than it was. Like,
yeah,
it has some neat things in it. I mean, like, a mad scientist controlling a biker gang and then being in the middle of a biker gang war is fun. Like, that's just, you know, is a throwback to like the Herschel Gordon Lewis biker movies, and like there's a lot of fun throwback stuff in this. It just could have used a little bit of fine tuning, and it could have been like an extremely fun movie. Like, this is a movie that I'm glad I watched. I think it was a great one for the podcast. I'm glad we were able to talk about it. But if it were 30 to 40 minutes shorter, I would probably be watching this every 2 or 3 years. You know, like, it would be in my rotation. Whereas I don't know that this is going to get a revisit from me anytime soon. Yeah,
same here. If it was like you said, if it was a little bit shorter, it'd be one of those movies where you have some people over, you're maybe having some drinks, taking some edibles, and you're like, oh, I got to show you this movie. There's a literal skull fucking scene in it.
Yeah,
you know, it's like one of those that you would throw on for like a group of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as it is now, it's not something I'm probably ever gonna watch again.
Yeah, which is a shame. And I hope. I mean, I don't know much about these directors, but clearly this is their, I guess, second feature. Hopefully they keep doing things. Hopefully they get better at it, because there's some fun stuff in here. It's not like these guys don't know what they're doing. They just...
Yeah.
They're not...
I would be willing... Right. I would be willing to watch their next movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not so excited about watching their previous movie, but yeah, if I heard a new one coming, I'd be like, oh, let's see how they grew. Let's see what they're up to now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have any closing thoughts? I think that's about all I've got to say on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have to say is yappity zappity snatch trap zippity doo blah blah blah. Which, that's what a literal line that Jet says right before he shoots that one stripper gun mall. And that's this movie.
Yep, yeah, you nailed it. That's exactly the way to bring this to a close. So yeah, I know we talked last week that the last book on the shelf is sort of on a hiatus. But hopefully we'll see more from you guys in the future. And if in the meantime, if not, definitely want to send listeners your way. Like, you guys have a lot of really great episodes, and if listeners, if you haven't gotten a chance to check them out, for sure you've got a lot of fun over there. Lots of stuff talking about great books and movies and just all vaguely horror stuff, TV shows, Twin Peaks, the Venture Brothers. Like, yeah, there's so much fun stuff over there. So, and some Frankenstein stuff too. There's plenty of that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth your all's time. Can't recommend it enough. And yeah, our normal spiel, you can find us on all the socials at the Frankencast. You can email us, thefrankencast@gmail.com, and you can find us at YouTube and at patreon.com, where there's plenty of material over there as well. Lots of back catalog there if you've not been, so you can catch up on Eric in the meantime, and just enjoy all kinds of audiobooks and Monsters talk and whatever you can
comic books.
Yeah, we've done several comic series. We talked about the Creature Commandos comics, and we talked about the Creature Commando show. There's something for everybody over there, I hope. And next week, I'm going to be giving Hayden a little bit of a break, and I'll be joined by another guest host, another friend of the show, our friend Alex Heichelbeck, who is sort of our ringer when it comes to all things Japan. He'll be joining me to discuss Vampire Girl versus Frankenstein Girl. So join us next week for what I understand to be a absolutely batshit insane high school movie from Japan. I think the title says it all. So join us next week for that. All right. Well, I guess if that's everything, until next time.
To be continued.
Looks like you survived another episode. The Frankencast is a production of FCR Media. It's hosted by Anthony Bowman and Eric Velasquez. Follow us on Twitter at The Frankencast, or send us a letter at thefrankencast@gmail.com. Our cover art is by Amanda Keller. You can find her at Keller Illustrations on Instagram. Our theme music is by Vivek Abhishek. Thanks for listening.
It was so funny. I watched both of them in bed, and my partner wasn't really paying attention during Middle of the Stone Women, but after I started watching Frankenstein Created Bikers, there were several parts where he was like, "What the fuck are you having to watch for that podcast?" And I was like, there's all kinds of bad Frankenstein movies out there.
Yeah, and this one is certainly high up on the the bad scale.
Yeah.